As a go-to-market leader, you want your sales enablement program to be as successful as possible. But do you know if your enablement efforts are actually paying off? If not, you're not alone. What if we told you that only 60% of companies are confident in the current way they track their sales enablement strategy? Thankfully, tracking the impact of your enablement efforts over time isn't as daunting as you might think. Let's take a look at 10 metrics you can use to track the success of your enablement program. Number 1. Time sellers spend creating or updating content. Great enablement software provides sellers the content they need to engage buyers and close deals. Sellers need to provide unique and relevant info to stand out, but it's not efficient for them to personalize every piece of content. That's why we suggest tracking the time sellers spend creating or updating content. Use the average as a baseline for each type of content, like a case study or a pitch deck. A successful enablement plan should lower the time spent creating and updating materials. Number 2. Content usage and performance. After you streamline content creation, it's important to measure how that content is being used in the field. Are sellers actually using it? Do buyers find it useful? Is it really accelerating deals? To answer these questions, track content usage and performance. This will help you identify what content is accessed most by sellers, how frequently it's being shared with buyers, and where in the sales cycle it's being used. Now that we've talked through helpful sales content KPIs, let's shift gears to another important area: training. For example, do you know how long it takes your new sellers to ramp? Number 3, ramp time. Ramp time tracks how long it takes for new sellers to close their first deals, and it's a good indicator of how well your onboarding program is at setting them up for success. In fact, we've seen organizations with effective enablement ramp new reps in just 10 days. Onboarding is great, but did you know that sellers forget 90% of what they learned just 3 days after training? That's why ongoing training is essential for both new and seasoned sellers. Number 4, knowledge retention rates. By tracking knowledge retention rates, you can better gauge rep competency and see how well they're applying what they've learned to their role. If retention rates are low, then it's a good idea to revisit your training content and strategy. It's also helpful to understand how sellers feel about your organization's training. Do they find the content helpful? Do they still have unanswered questions? Number 5, learner satisfaction ratings. Collecting learner satisfaction ratings is a great way to understand how reps feel about the training they completed. Lower satisfaction might mean there's room for improvement, or that the information you're providing is irrelevant or unclear. In an ideal world, quick access to sales content combined with effective training will drive seller performance. So here are 4 more metrics to make sure this is the case. Number 6, time spent selling. Measure the time reps actually spend selling. The more time they spend on actual revenue-generating activities, the more likely they are to close deals. If the time they spend selling is too low, it likely means your enablement program hasn't streamlined the sales process enough. It's also important to track how well your sellers can convert leads to the next stage of the sales cycle. Number 7, conversion rates. Tracking conversion rates will help you gauge how equipped sellers feel as they engage with buyers and encourage them to move to the next stage. Without effective enablement, you'll likely see stagnant conversion rates over time. We all know that the sales cycle includes a lot of moving parts and stages, and it's important to review performance across each stage. Number 8, sales cycle length. By tracking the sales cycle length, also known as deal velocity, you'll see how long it takes a prospect to become a customer. A shorter sales cycle means that sellers are successfully engaging with buyers to move them through the sales process. Sales teams also need to keep track of how often they're winning deals and contributing to an organization's ARR. This specific KPI is critical because it has such a tangible impact on the bottom line. Number 9, win rate. Your team's win rate is the percentage of deals your sellers win over a certain period of time. Sellers who receive solid enablement have all the tools and resources to close deals and increase their individual and team win rates. And remember, tracking enablement success doesn't end once someone becomes a customer. The 10th and final KPI we recommend is the Net Promoter Score. This measures your customers' willingness to recommend your business to others, and it's a strong indicator of satisfaction. Enablement can influence customer satisfaction by providing coaching and content that leads to high-quality interactions and relationships between sellers and buyers. Therefore, your NPS can help your sales team correlate their behaviors to satisfaction rates. Data and analytics are the cornerstone of every great enablement strategy. And these KPIs are just a sample of metrics that your organization can use to monitor and improve your enablement efforts. If you want to learn more, Check out our guide, 12 + 1 KPIs to measure enterprise enablement success. Happy measuring!